And we are live. What's going on, everybody? I am exhausted, and this is open late. It's been a crazy week for me. I've been very busy with work, family, and the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom Kickstarter. It's been a blast so far. We're a week in, 7 days down, 35 to go. Whew, it is a marathon, not a sprint. I keep telling myself that, and I keep reminding Jason that we've got a long way to go and a whole lot of cool stuff to reveal. So what do I do to unwind? What do I do to relax? Open more toys. I hang out in my office and get into some action figures that I've been waiting for a very long time. For anybody that sort of followed along, when I got into these Super 7 Ninja Turtles, I basically just sent my list to Mike at E Collectibles and I said, look, is there any way that you can just sort of set these aside and kind of lock me in for one of each and sort of ship them out one or two at a time as I sort of have downtime in my in my shipments, basically. If I got one or two figures, these kind of filled out my so these were sort of in a pile of loot. And when two GI Joe figures come in, or three Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figures come in, and they don't quite make enough to ship a box, one or two of the Super 7 Ultimates gets added in to effectively make a box that's worthy of the sort of free shipping threshold. And so the latest of these are Casey Jones and April O'Neil. There's still a few more. I still got a few more that I want. These, to me, as I've said before, are kind of the only Ninja Turtle figures that I need. I mean, there's other stuff that I'm getting. I'm getting the Mutant Mayhem stuff. I picked up, the NECA Last Ronin figure. There's a lot of really great Ninja Turtles lines, but for me, the Super 7 Ultimates are the ones that sort of speak the most to me. So I'm very, very excited to get these guys. And here's the other thing: I bought these knowing all the complaints that people have about both of them. Like, I'm fully aware that Casey Jones has a weird waist and that April O'Neil has weird, kind of not transparent plastic, but like it's not fully opaque. Whatever, I don't care. These are toys. They don't have to be perfect. I don't care if they're perfect. I don't want them to be perfect. I want them to be toys, especially with the Super 7 Ultimates. I want these to be representations of toys that I had when I was a kid, you know, warts and all, right? Blemishes and all. Super 7 can't do human heads. Well, there you go, April O'Neil. I still bought it, even though they have their issues. I don't care. Buy what you like. I'll do the same. That wasn't like that's not a slight against anybody. I'm just saying I buy what I like, and whatever makes you happy, whatever toy you want. Never ever let somebody else tell you which toy you should or shouldn't get, um, because toys are meant to be fun, and if they're fun and they bring you joy, do it. All right, let's check in with the chat, and then I'll take a look at these figures. Cobweb Collector is here. It says, "Oh yeah, I need this figure. Casey rocks. Casey does rock." Casey Jones, when I was a kid, when you're a kid, maybe this is just me, but like when I was a kid, I kind of played every sport. I played hockey, I played baseball, I played, soccer. I played everything, right? That's three sports. That's not everything, but I kind of played a season or two of everything, and you play everything in gym, and you play everything at recess and at lunch break and all that kind of stuff. So Casey Jones was like really accessible in some ways. And so I always loved Casey Jones. And I mean, April O'Neil, in the cartoon, in the movies, in the comics, like if you got the Turtles, you got Casey Jones, you got to get April. And I don't care that she's, not a perfect figure. I don't need a perfect figure of April O'Neil. I just need April O'Neil. I just need an action figure version of April O'Neil. Cobweb says, let's get a Kickstarter going to fix that broken A in the open late sign. That was by design. I just thought it looked better with like one kind of burnt out. And I don't know how to make like a video version of it. If I could do a video version, I would do it like so that the A is like flickering, because I thought that would have been fun, but it's just static. It's for fun. It's all good. Speaking Moistly is here. Speaking Moistly with the glowworm avatar. I kind of miss the merman avatar. Being that it is Merman March. What made you change that up, Speaking Moistly? If you don't mind me asking. Brick Something says, ew, Super7, gross. Brick and I are on the same page with Super7. We absolutely kind of respect what they're doing and where they're coming from and why they're doing it. If you don't like a toy, kick rocks, man. Nobody cares what toys you don't like. Nobody cares. Jay Wright is here. Nice. What's going on, Jay? Good to have you, buddy. Moistly. Yeah, but he changed to a glowworm. It's throwing me off. Jeff Evans 24 says, hi everyone. What's going on, Jeff? Sap is here as well. Jeff Morris. Jay says, I like them too. I have Leo or Raph. Can't remember. Rocksteady and Bebop. Well, Leo has the blue gear, and Ralph has the red gear. Actually, Ralph has the brown gear. Bebop and Rocksteady are really, really good figures in the Super 7 line. They're like way oversized and they're awesome. I really love the Super 7 Turtles. I really love the Super 7 Turtles. I need more of them. I didn't get that Slam Dunk Donatello, and I really want it now that everybody's reviewing it and saying how awesome it is. But anyways, glow in the dark stream. Oh yeah, absolutely. That makes perfect sense, and I totally remember that you changed it for that. Good move. If I was clever enough to do stuff like that, I probably still wouldn't, because I don't have time. Those are the little things that I wish I had time for sometimes. But anyways, let's get into these figures. I don't want to go too late, too long, because I still have to answer Animal Warriors of the Kingdom emails and write updates for the Kickstarter. So without further ado, let's take a look. Super 7 always comes with these packages, or do they? These had the brown outer shipper box, and then they have the sleeve. Now, Super 7 has moved away from these, to the best of my knowledge, where the brown shipper boxes are kind of altogether gone, and the sleeves are on some, but not on all of them anymore. As much as I like the packaging, as much as I like the sort of like the sort of luxury branding, the sort of premium feel of cardboard in cardboard in cardboard, I'm not gonna miss it. I'm not gonna miss the layers and layers of cardboard, because it's ultimately not necessary. I open everything. And so to that end, the packaging is great, but I open it and then put it away. Less packaging means less stuff I need to hold on to be perfectly honest. But we get the same thing that we've gotten with most of the Ninja Turtles line. All the good guys come with the green packaging. All the bad guys, of course, come with the purple packaging. So we get the unique manhole covers for each of the characters. So Casey Jones, of course, comes with the golf club and the baseball bat. April comes with the video camera twice, I think. It could have been video camera and microphone or something. But again, I'm looking at these now, but I might never look at them ever again. Casey Jones and April O'Neil. On the back, Ninja Turtles. On the back, Ninja Turtles. So the outer sleeve, as I said, as much as I like the outer sleeve, I don't need it. It doesn't do much for me. Here they are in the packaging. They look fantastic. I like the big open window. I like, the bricks on here. There's sort of a gloss, like a splatter of gloss, so it looks like they're a little bit wet, which is not going to translate. So you just have to sort of believe me and pick these up for yourself. Um, on the backs of these Super Sevens, you get the bios, which are great. To date, I don't think I've read a single one of them. I feel as though I'm fairly familiar with these characters after 30 some odd years of my life, kind of knowing who they are. I'm sure I've missed something. I'm not a hardcore fan of really any IPs apart from Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. So I know what I know, and I know enough to enjoy the lines, but I don't go too crazy about. I don't know his background. I don't know who her parents are or anything like that. I don't know if that information is even out there, but I don't really care. I'm just I'm just into action figures. I like the cool designs, and I enjoy these guys in the cartoon and stuff like that. So I'm happy. I'm happy to get these. Now, first things first, I do see that this hockey stick is not straight. It's all wavy and curvy in there. I'm sure I can easily flatten that thing out with some hot water. I can already see, the complaints that I've seen about the waist. I can already sort of see that there's a funny disconnect as far as the sculpt goes. And as far as the yellow plastic and the skin tone for April, I can see it, but meh, I don't really care. I'm probably going to use that head anyway, which looks a little bit better. But let's get these guys out of the box. But before I do, let me check in with the chat. What are you guys chatting about? Let me see. Where was it? Jeff said, I heard Brian Flynn said the sleeves are gone, but the shipper boxes could stay. Could have heard that wrong. It kind of makes sense that the shipper boxes would stay just because, if they ship out one at a time, they would want to kind of protect this. That being said, I mean, I would assume they ship most of them in cases. So I don't know. I mean, they look great like this, right? Like I don't know that I need the brown shipper box and then the sleeve. Like this when I've seen these in stores, the stores that do stock Super 7 Ultimates, they display them like this. They don't display them in the shipper box. They don't display them with the sleeve on. So why not just kind of go straight to this? This is what most action figures look like on the shelf and when they're shipped. So I don't know. Jeremy says, this is awesome. I want to collect TMNT stuff, mostly NECA, but I know my OCD. I stick to my Joes and Legends. Man, yeah. I mean, there's a lot of good figures in this line. So, if you're sort of a completist and you know that you're going to go all in on a line, I hate to say it, but there's definitely figures in this line that I will not be buying. And it's not because they're bad figures, just because I just don't need everything in this line. So. Ted Darklaw's here. What's going on, Ted? Good to have you, my friend. Casey's my favorite non-turtle. Nice. I think I still like Mondo Gecko, but anyway. But I do really like Casey Jones. All right, let's get these guys open. I've got my handy knife here. I should have pre-opened these. I often do. But I didn't, so get over it. Let's get Casey Jones out first. I'm going to do this super, super quick. Mind the noise. So you get 2 trays with this guy. In the back, you get, the stuff on the sort of stylized thing. So you get like a hockey net with the parts in sort of the original sculpted color. I don't even take those out of the package, to be honest. I prefer the painted stuff, and this just stays in the box. So. Ooh, twist tie. I feel like I'm unboxing a Mythic Legions. I thought these had the little plasticky things. I don't remember these having zip tie or twist ties. Oh man, it's like the tape on these hockey pucks. So you get these tiny little hockey pucks, and the tape is like, it would take me forever to like peel that off without using a knife. So it's gonna take me forever even using a knife. Talk amongst yourselves for a moment, because they put this tape on in a way. Dang it. This is what I do to relax. I struggle. I struggle with tape. Oh man, it's a good thing Star's not here. I'm using the knife to actually dig these out. Star would probably lose his mind. Sorry, Star, if you watch this in the replay. I don't know of another way that I could get these out because this tape is not cooperating. Like, you see that? It just like the tape just like falls apart. Okay, you know what? I'm going to open April as well at the same time, because then I can adjust the camera angle and you guys won't be as bored a second time. I will just do it all in one go. Once I get her out of the box, what I will do is check in with the chat, and then we'll take a look at the figures. I think that might be all I need the knife for, hopefully. Let's see. Same thing going on here. So the second card, you get the spare hands, and then a flashlight, actually. So we will pop those out. I will undo the twist tie. So I have been doing pre-recorded unboxings as well. And one of the reasons for that is because I buy too many toys and there's not enough weeks for me to do open lates. The other is because this part of the videos for me is like, this is the only part where I get anxiety. Like, this is the part where I'm like rushing to do it, and I don't want people to be bored, and I feel like I just sort of ramble on because I'm kind of concentrating on getting stuff out of the package without breaking it. And some things just don't want to come out of the package. Some things are taped funny. Some things just. So anyway, there's just a little insight into my mind. But I love doing these. I love doing them live. I love hanging out and chatting with you guys while I play with toys. As I always say, it's way more fun to do this with friends. So glad to have you guys here while I do this. I'm shocked that you guys want to be here to do this with me. But I totally appreciate everybody hanging out. Especially while I struggle with some of these. Some figures are super easy to get out. Maybe I should just do live unboxings of SH Figure Arts because they're so easy to get out of the package. These guys, on the other hand, not so much, but they're still fun. These feel so. That's part of the sort of for me, like part of the part of what I like about these figures, this line, is that these feel so much like there's so much nostalgia with this line. This alternate head is just like it's not coming out. There we go. There we go. All right. Throwing stars. Get the knife. Maybe it's because these figures are old and this tape is old. The tape just like falls apart. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The figure is out of the package. Both of the figures are out of the package. So I will get all April's accessories over there, Casey's accessories over there. Get these guys stood up, change the angle, check in with the chat, and then we'll really be rolling. We'll be talking about these figures. First impressions, these are fun. These are fun figures. These just, yeah, just so much. Oh, man. Just like, there's so much of my childhood right here. Ninja Turtles was like a every day after school thing. We would rush home from school. I used to get babysat, or I guess like my neighbors' parents would like mind us after school before my parents got home, and my neighbors and I were all into Ninja Turtles, and we would all hang out, watch Ninja Turtles. I think it was on like 3. I think it was on at 3:30 and school got out at 3, so we'd like get all our stuff and like get home so we didn't miss anything. And I think Batman the animated series was on sort of right around the same time or like a little bit later. I can't remember. I'm no historian. Ask Ken Poe, he'll tell you. But here, let me tighten this shot up. Yeah, that'll do. That'll do. All right, what's going on in the chat? Let me see if I can catch up here. Wish there was a way to like bookmark where I was in the chat, but there isn't. Jeff said, "Sweet sounds of unpacking a fig. It really makes me happy every time to rip in." Yeah, I know. It's that crinkling of that plastic. There's something about that specific type of plastic. Um, Jay says, "I kind of want to buy the NECA mask." The NECA Casey Jones mask, I believe, is what he's referring to. Let's see. Two guys talking toys says, "Hi everybody, what's going on? Two guys." Um, I don't have the Super 7 April and was curious to hear some thoughts. I'm probably gonna have very. I mean, like I said, I'm very forgiving of companies that make toys. So you're probably just gonna hear good things from me. I will try to be pretty objective, but Brick says, "You're keeping me company while I shoot a short for Tibius." Nice. And Brick's doing an open late as well. Um, Jeremy says, "I miss old 80s Joes for inner bubble just to open and dump parts." Yeah, exactly. Um, yeah, you tear the bubble off the card and away you go. Two guys talking toy says, "I always treat packaging like this as if it's an ice cube tray and hope the carpet monster doesn't swallow up anything that hits the floor." I think I'm pretty like I probably could have gotten all that stuff out way quicker. I just tend to be very thorough and methodical. I don't like wrecking the packaging, even if I'm throwing it out. There are some exceptions. I really enjoy tearing the Masters of the Universe Origins lines figures off of the card, like just tearing the bubbles off the card and just throwing them wherever. Like it just, I don't know. It's just certain lines. I did that with the Ninja Turtles, the Mutant Mayhem Ninja Turtles as well. Um, Jeremy, did you have Mask as a kid? I didn't have much Mask as a kid. I had like two or three of them. Is that I don't know how to even like refer to them. I had the green motorcycle that turned into a helicopter. I remember that one. I had the I don't even know the names. I don't know any of the names of them. I had the red car where the wings go up to or the doors go up to make the wings. And then I had one more. I like a purple car or something like that. Another car. I had another one of the cars. Cobb says Turtles were my next love after Masters of the Universe. I'm sure I'll be heading down this road as well. Yeah, these are fun, and this is like, as I said, for me, like these are I held out on Ninja Turtles, like any Ninja Turtles. I wasn't collecting anything, not vintage, not Super 7, not NECA, cartoon, Archie, whatever. I didn't do any Ninja Turtles for a long, long time. Um, but I kind of decided that I wanted to do Ninja Turtles, and the Super 7 Ultimates was the line that made the most sense to me because it was better articulation with sort of all the figures that I loved, and for a lot of these, for a lot of lines that are like nostalgia based, I struggle with, do I want an accurate representation of the toys, or do I want sort of something that represents what I imagined that they were, if that makes sense. So for me, the GI Joe classified line, I want updated versions. I want more modern stuff. I love the Joe Pros on them. The retro carded stuff isn't as exciting to me. That stuff feels kind of stale or like not as exciting. But I think that's down to the fact that with GI Joes, what I loved was that it was like near future and so on. With Ninja Turtles, what I loved was just the wild designs, like super colorful, bright, fun, all that kind of stuff. And the cartoon was great, but for me, like Ninja Turtles was more about the action figures. So the Ultimates line kind of just made perfect sense because it's basically the vintage action figures done better. And I know they're not perfect. You know what I mean? Like the articulation is still Super 7 Ultimate's articulation. But I'm okay with that. So Jay says, I bought the NECA movie Turtles. 7 out of 8 are still carded. I opened Leon. Jay, thank you for never breaking character. I really do really do appreciate you. I actually, so I collect the Super 7 Ninja Turtles primarily. But I did buy, like, I bought, a run of the retro, just the first version of the Ninja Turtles, just the like 5 POA kind of ones. They're not 5 POA though, aren't they? They have articulation at the, like, rotation at the elbow kind of thing. Or are they 7 POA or whatever? Anyway, I bought those. I bought the Storage Shell Turtles. I have a couple of the Last Ronin NECA figures. And I got the NECA Turtles in Disguise 4-pack just to have that cartoon representation as well. But that's as far as I went with the NECA stuff. I'm having way more fun with the Ultimates. Even like the costumed ones. Like I got Samurai Leo, I got Sewer Surfing Raph. I'm leaning towards Space Cadet or Sewer Surfing Mike. I'm leaning towards Space Cadet Raph. I'm leaning towards Slam Dunk Donatello. I really want them to do Donatello in Disguise, because that's the vintage inspired one. They did the Raphael for a Big Bad Toy Store exclusive, but it's not Donnie, so I kind of want it. I kind of want the Donnie one, um, but yeah, I got more. I like the Neutrino. I've got on order. The Triceraton I've got on order. There's a few more that I would still. Rat King, the new Rat King, the second version of Rat King. Shout out to Kyle at Super 7 for doing the Rat King that I think most people really wanted, but then doubling down and including handsome Rat King as an alternate head. That was a power move. Two Guys Talking Toy says, what do you think about the Street Sharks announcement? Man. I'm conflicted. I really want those, but I really don't want to spend more money. I'm really glad to see that the line getting the Motu Origins treatment. Fingers crossed they get to Moby Lick in the next wave. Yeah. That one more than the others. Like, or not Moby Lick, but like Street Sharks more than some of the others, like Biker Mice from Mars or Sectars, or like some of the other lines where they're doing like pretty vintage accurate. Street Sharks I really loved. I didn't have all of them. I didn't have a lot of them. As a kid, I had like 2 of every line. My collection as a kid probably looked like what Brick's collection looks like right now, where I had like sort of 1 or 2 of everything. And when a new line came out, I was like, I got to get those ones. So I never had complete lines of anything. But Street Sharks, yeah. I mean, a couple of the Sharks, Moby Lick, I just a couple. There's definitely a couple that I really hope that I can pick up, because they definitely sort of fit in with what I collect. I mean, if Animal Warriors of the Kingdom never does a killer whale, at least I'll have a Moby Lick, maybe, if they do it. Here's hoping. Brick says 1 or 2, as if I have that level of self-control. Well, some of the lines that you had like, 1 of something, because that's all they've done. That's all the company's done, or the line is done. But anyways, let's take a look at these figures, shall we? Let's start with April O'Neil. Let's get April out of the way first. Or I mean, ladies first. That's what I meant. Yeah, the plastic looks a little. I can't remember what other people have said. I watched, the reviews a long time ago before I sort of ordered this. Knew that there was complaints about it. Didn't care. The skin tone, like this looks very much like a toy. There is sort of a cheapness to it. The yellow plastic looks waxy, like it's kind of shiny. It kind of yeah, it's a bit odd. It's a bit odd, to be honest. And most of the Ninja Turtles from the Super 7 line don't have this problem. The skin is a very action figure kind of pink. It's not a skin tone at all. Is it? No, it isn't. It's just sort of monotone. There's no shading, no highlighting, no anything. It definitely it it has kind of a Barbie doll feel, if that makes sense to anybody that has kids that have Barbies, or had people in their lives that had Barbie. And maybe you collect Barbies. I don't know. This the skin on her neck looks a little bit better because I think it's different plastic. Like it might even be painted over the yellow plastic that this is molded in. I don't know. There's a little bit of shading. You can sort of see some highlights on a few spots, in the fabric. But not much. And it is what it is. This feels like a sticker, this sort of tampo on her back. It is a tampo, it's not a sticker. But it feels like a funny little afterthought. It's the blue stripe. I don't know if they'll do the variants of different colored stripes or what, but her hips are a little bit odd too. The sculpt doesn't give you much room. I don't know that. Oh no, it kind of sneaks underneath there. This is there's sort of a softer plastic overlay um, over top of, I think, a harder plastic piece underneath. Um, and it's almost like it's a drop down hip, but not quite. I'm not sure what's going on there. Anyway, it's fine. It's fine. This is a toy. This is very, this feels like the April O'Neil action figure, from when I was a kid. I'm okay with this. All those things that I just mentioned are not complaints. To me, this feels like a nostalgic action figure, and I'm happy to have her in the collection. Now let's take a quick look at her accessories before I look at Casey Jones, because I feel like I'm gonna like Casey Jones more than I like April O'Neil. Um, but I did mention there are two alternate heads, so we get this alternate head with the headset on. It is sculpted. It's not added on and then glued. You can kind of see that there's no break. Maybe you can't on the camera, but there's no break between the hair and the headband. It's just sculpted in there, and then they've painted sort of a metallic gunmetal gray. The paint apps are fine. It still looks. It has that sort of cheap plastic doll type of look to the face, to the flesh tone. Like I said, I don't care. That head, I don't know if I'm ever going to use it. This is probably the head that I'm going to display April with. I don't know. You know what? I'm kind of torn. I don't know. I like the bigger hair on this one, but I don't like the orangey kind of paint app. I prefer the paint app on this hair. So, yeah, I don't know. Like I said, really wanted to have April O'Neil. I'm not really that fussed about the execution. It's not the greatest Super 7 Ultimate figure by a long shot. Let's be honest. However, it's not that bad. I mean, you know, if you're sort of hearing what I'm saying and you still want her, grab it. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not as good as other figures. Then we get a tripod, which goes with the camera here. The camera is got a weird sort of slot in the back, and I suspect that is so that she can hold it in her hand really weirdly. Oh no, wait. I'll come back to that. I know why it looks like that. But this will also mount onto the tripod. The tripod is just cast in dark gray plastic. The camera is probably cast in that color too, and then fully painted, so they don't actually match, which is a bit disappointing. But not the end of the world. I did most of the accessories I sort of put to the side. So there's the camera painted with a dark gray metallic, pretty much the same dark gray metallic that we have on the headset with a couple hits of paint. You got red, the sort of recording light there. The lens on either end, the viewfinder and the lens are sort of a silver. And as I was looking at the accessory, saying I don't know why it has that notch on the back, you also get a small pistol, also painted in that dark metallic, and I'm pretty sure that that is how that mounts. So that sort of slots in the back of the video camera, so she can hold it like that and expose that she's got that there. I think if I had the vintage figure, I think I probably didn't have the accessories. And I'm wondering if this came with the vintage figure. So if you had vintage April O'Neil, let me know. Did she have a video camera that had a hidden pistol? So is that just a sort of callback to the vintage April O'Neil? If so, I am curious to know. A lot of this stuff, again, it's been in a package for a while. These figures came out a few waves ago, so I think I can straighten a lot of this stuff out. A lot of it's a little bit bent, a little bit crooked, but I'm confident that I can straighten it out later. She comes with a briefcase. The briefcase is more or less empty. There's a little bit of sculpting in there. I'm not sure how much you can fit in there. I think you'd really only fit the flashlight. There's no paint on this, just a gray molded plastic. The flashlight is in that metallic as well, and then a hit of red, a hit of silver for the lens there. I'm gonna keep that in there. The microphone also in that silver metallic with a hit of silver on the end. So there's a pretty limited color palette going on here. Those I'm gonna keep in there so I don't lose them. We get her compact turtle communicator. We get two versions of it. We get it closed, we get it open, and the open one actually has Donatello, who happens to be my favorite Ninja Turtle. So that's actually kind of a bonus. I'm excited about that. Um, I remember in the cartoon, she would just always be talking on that, and people never seemed to like figure out that she knew the Ninja Turtles, and it drove me crazy. She has a Channel 6 News press pass with a little string, little sort of lanyard thing. The string is all crimped up and it's not going to sit very well on her head. I know for sure because the little press pass is not very heavy. But whatever, it's fine. Two little throwing stars. They are tiny. They're pretty flimsy too. Those will probably fit in the briefcase, I think, as well. So I'll probably try to sneak those in there. And then, of course, because it's Super 7, we get a bunch of hands. So she comes with two fists on the figure. We get two gripping hands, just sort of standard C grip type hands. We get two open hands. These remind me of Barbie hands for sure, and these fingers are all crooked. I'm really hoping that some heat can fix those. I know it will. I know it will. So I say I hope, but I'm quite certain that it will. And then we get two hands that are not quite matching trigger hands. I don't think. Well, maybe they are. And then they just been sat in the packaging a little bit too long, so that one is a little bit tighter. But they're both trigger hands. They both have the index finger sort of separate from the rest of the fingers for the pistol, so that she can hold the pistol with either hand. Altogether, a great figure. As I said, if you like April O'Neil in sort of the vintage figure, I think it's a pretty accurate representation. I think it's what you would expect from a vintage April O'Neil inspired action figure, and I wouldn't hesitate to buy it if you want the figure. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just not as good as a lot of the other Super 7 Ultimates Ninja Turtles figures. Personally, I feel like they set a fairly high bar. Um, so get it if you like it. Moving on to Casey Jones, but before I do, let's see. Um, Wonder why the quality on April is so different than other figures in the line. I have Mutagen Man, he's top quality. Yeah, I mean that's the thing is there seems to be a little bit of inconsistency in terms of the execution. Even with the turtles. Raphael and Leonardo are fantastic. Mikey has a little bit of like a gloss to him, which is a little bit weird. Donatello's staff is too short. That's my complaint about Donatello. That's kind of my only complaint about Donatello, but I love Donatello, so I was a little bit disappointed. Now, apparently the Slam Dunk Dawn has a longer staff, and so that's part of the reason that I want to get that figure. But anyway, um, yeah, Two Guys Talking Toy says I never had the original April. I kind of like the hidden gun and the camera gimmick. Yeah, it seems like a cliche in a way, but it works. I think so. Brick says I had the vintage Casey, loved him. Absolutely, me too. I absolutely loved my vintage Casey Jones. Weird crooked backpack strap and all. So let's move on to Casey Jones. Let's take a look. First things first, the action figure. The waist issue is that his waist isn't as big as the waist of his pants. So you can sort of see that like the pants come out further than his waist, and it's weird because I would think it would have been sculpted as like one figure, and yet it's like it doesn't match up. It's almost like somebody did the pants and somebody else did the torso, and somebody didn't get a memo of like the size or the measurements, but width wise it's correct. So it's kind of just a weird thing going on that I don't really understand. It's very odd, but that's really the big complaint. That's been the sort of the big complaint about Casey Jones. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything that I really don't like. um the articulation in the hips is a little, or the sculpting to allow for the engineering is a little odd. It's similar to April. The turtles kind of benefit from the shell coming down and covering. A lot of the other characters sort of have something that sort of allows the sort of covering of the articulation. He doesn't, which is why I think that the sculpt kind of suffers, because they really are trying to make sculpts that look good and then add articulation to them. It's all sort of single jointed stuff, and so you don't get crazy range of motion. So they are sacrificing um a little bit of articulation to sort of have better looking figures, which I'm okay with. These have more articulation than the vintage figures did, so that's sort of a plus to me. The skin tone on Casey looks fine. There's shading on the arms. There's sort of texture on the arms. It doesn't look as much like a doll, so that's great. Single jointed elbow, but you get bicep swivel and rotation as well as a joint at the shoulder. So definitely way more articulation than the vintage figure did. Rotation at the wrist as well as a joint. Is it a vertical? Yeah, so it's a vertical joint on that side, vertical joint on that side. But you get horizontal joints in the hands that this guy comes with in the accessories there. It might take a minute to sort of get him sort of posed right, because the way he came out of the box, it was like his leg was kind of like bowed or something like that. But I think the articulation is there for me to get him to look a little more normal, if that makes sense. There's no normal, but a little bit straighter, a little less sort of awkward, just how he's standing. That being said, it is very much a sort of comic / cartoon inspired look. So the proportions are crazy. The proportions are weird. The head looks great. The hair sculpted really, really well. I like his I like his cropped hoodie. That, as a kid, it never seemed weird that he was wearing a sleeveless cropped hoodie while running around New York City, hitting people with hockey sticks. It's just totally normal. That's just normal vigilante behavior. He's got a shoulder pad. Like, this is just this is I can't help but feel, like a little kid with these, because they're 100% just what I had as a kid. You know what I mean? There's not a lot of updates design wise. I think, as much as I am sort of open to toy lines taking liberties and sort of experimenting and adding cool details and things like that, I think the attempt the first attempt at Rat King that Super 7 made, I think the reaction wasn't so much that people didn't like their version of Rat King, so much as it was that people really wanted that nostalgic, filthy, disgusting, borderline scary Rat King. I know that I fall into that camp. Um, when I saw Pretty Boy Rat King, I actually messaged Kyle and I was like, "Is this real? Is this is this happening right now?" Um, and yeah, so I was very, very happy when they sort of pulled Rat King and said, "We'll reimagine it. We'll come back and we'll see." Um, Pretty Boy Rat King was a good looking figure, like too good looking, I guess. But it wasn't the Rat King that I think a lot of people wanted, because I think, what they've done so far has been the very sort of vintage inspired. Now, that being said, they did the Ronin Leo, and I think that figure looked great. I think, introducing new characters is actually like a cool move on their part. Um, but I think they can do that, or I can appreciate that, because they did a really good Leo, and they did, Samurai Leo. They've kind of done the versions that people know and love and want, and that sort of gives them the liberty, in my opinion, to kind of put their spin on it. But for the record, I love that Ronin Leo. Um, Cobb says Hidden Gun was with the original. So there you go. It's just a really, really cool nod to the original figure. Jay says pretty accurate to the vintage one. I think it's almost too accurate to the vintage one, and that's why people complained about that one. Um, Speaking moistly, normal look for New York. In the 80s, everybody in New York just walked around with sleeveless cut off hoodies. Jay Wright says, "You play cricket?" Oh man, I actually lived with two Kiwis for a couple years, and I don't play cricket, but I kind of understand cricket. I think cricket's cool. I like cricket. Two guys talking toys. I think the latest Rat King offering is a good compromise. I agree 100%. We got filthy, disgusting Rat King and Pretty Boy Rat King in one package, and I think that's what most people kind of wanted. So, all right, accessory wise, we've got Casey Jones's goalie stick. This thing is all kinds of crooked, and it's really quite soft and flimsy. I'm going to heat this up and straighten it out, but I don't think it's going to stay straight for long, which is a little bit of a bummer. But, again, they're toys, so I'm okay with it. I think if it was a little thicker, it would have held its shape a little bit better. Um, and so, there's my complaint for Casey, is that some of these accessories probably should have been a little bit thicker. His hockey stick, his golf club, this is crazy. Like, what kind of shape is that? But yeah, the golf club, the sort of strips of fabric or whatever it is on there, the paint on these is pretty good. They're well executed, so I'm happy about that. You also saw me struggling with the hockey pucks, and we get a plain hockey puck. Just put these with the hockey stick. We get the plain hockey puck, and then two that have kind of tape or something going on them. The hockey pucks are fun. Um, I mean, all this is fun. These are Ninja Turtles. That's what Ninja Turtles are. They're just fun. Count them, three baseball bats. We get a baseball bat with virtually no damage. We get a baseball bat with a little bit of damage on the end. It kind of has like a mouth. It's not a mouth, but and then we get the bat. Like, to me, this is the bat that that reminds me of Casey Jones, the kind of chipped off one. It's a little bit sharper. It's almost like the stabby bat. I always thought that this was more like a sword because it was broken like that. Maybe that's just me, but so three baseball bats. And then, of course, we get the bag. And again, the strap on the bag is like kind of goofy. It's like kind of curved and it's kind of on there sideways. I'm curious to see how this fits on the figure, because the vintage figure, that was one of the things that stood out for me, that this strap never sat properly. The strap was the strap sat like perpendicular to his chest, which I was like, how did this get designed this way? That was a bit Christopher Walken-y, wasn't it? How did they design this bag? That was a terrible Christopher Walken impression. But anyway, yeah, the bag's cool. The bag's actually two-tone with some hits of silver on it. So I don't know how well it's going to turn up, but there's sort of a darker turquoise to the straps and to some of the straps on here. The shoulder strap is also a darker color. The turquoise is a little bit lighter. Um, in person, it's almost like a Tiffany blue, which is a color that I like. And then silver, as I said, there's silver on the zippers, silver on the buckles. There's a whole bunch of very, very small hits of silver. The bag is really, really well done. I'm very impressed with that, and very, very happy that it's included and that it looks so much like the vintage one. Um, and then as far as extra hands, we get 3 sets. He comes with standard gripping hands, as I already sort of mentioned, and then he comes with fists. He comes with gripping hands with a horizontal hinge. And lastly, he comes with the more open, more expressive hands. Interestingly, it appears that this one is molded in brown and then the fingers are painted on. This one appears to be molded in the flesh color and then the bandages are painted on. So interesting that they've sort of taken different routes for the hands. It's odd, but it is what it is. Now, as far as the scale on these guys, as far as how big are these guys in relation to the turtles, it just so happens that I have a Ninja Turtle on hand. How convenient is that? So there is Raphael. Now, as much as I love this line for its nostalgia, I love the new head sculpts that they did, and so all my turtles have the newer head sculpts. I may go back. I may do a 180 on that, and I may put the vintage heads on them, because I love these new heads. But now that I'm sort of adding, a more vintage looking April, the vintage looking Casey Jones, I'm feeling like these heads stand out and they don't quite look right. So I may go back to the vintage heads, but the turtles are a little bit smaller, which I like. I like that they've, kind of corrected the scale a little bit with the Super 7 Ultimates. Like I said, Bebop and Rocksteady are absolute monsters in this line. Slash is another one who is just a beast. And I like that they're sort of having fun with sort of scaling these the way that the actual characters kind of should be scaled. Um, it's been said, and I don't know how true it is or not, that the vintage line all had to fit the same size bubble, and so the figures kind of got sculpted in a way that sort of squished them or whatever sometimes, just to sort of fit in those bubbles, which is famously why Shredder is in that weird pose that he is. Um, but yeah, very, very cool. Really loving these figures, loving this line as well. Um, just for one more reference point, because why not? I've been talking about it plenty, and I'll be talking about it plenty more. But just as a reference, there's an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom figure in relation to these guys. Animal Warriors of the Kingdom and Super 7 scale almost perfectly together. So whether it's the Ninja Turtles or the Thundercats or what have you, they're all in that kind of not quite 6-inch scale, but not quite 7-inch scale either. So they're sort of somewhere in between. Also, I was looking at this figure while I was sort of getting set up for this video, and he's such a good figure. I really, really love this figure. This figure is available for now from spirotoys.com. The Kickstarter is going on now. Go over there and back the Kickstarter. If you haven't heard, we're doing an elephant. So get over there and get your pledge in. There's a lot of cool stuff to be revealed and to be unlocked. So stay tuned for more on that. If you're at all interested in Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, tune in on Sunday at 2 p.m. Pacific time. Brick and I are going to be talking with Jason. Question and answer period. Ask anything. I will make Jason answer it. And if he won't, then I will. But it should be a lot of fun. Let's see what's going on in the chat. Brick says, if I had those abs, I might actually wear more crop tops. More crop tops implies that you wear some crop tops, Brick. Jose Canseco. Man, Casey Jones in the movie is so good. Now I want to watch the Ninja Turtles movie. Maybe I'll do that when I finish on here. Just kidding. I'm going to sleep. Two Guys Talking Toy says Slash is my absolute favorite in the line. So glad Super 7 did him justice. Yes, and if you guys haven't seen that Slash, the Super 7 Ultimate Slash in person, he is a monster. He's so thick and heavy. Hold on. I can reach him. So I will. Oh, am I going to knock every other figure off my shelf by grabbing him? Okay, I didn't. Slash is like just a super chunky boy. He doesn't really fit. I got to like compare them. He's short, but he's so thick. He is so heavy and a big old nasty chunky boy. Do yourself a favor. If you're not even into this line, go and get this Slash, because if you only get one of them, that's the one to get. He is awesome. He really is a great figure. He doesn't even fit. I can't leave him on here because he's just too big. Two Guys Talking Toys. AWOC looks mighty nice in there. He does, and the AWOC stuff fits really well with a lot of vintage stuff, which is part of why I absolutely love the AWOC stuff. Ray Pass says, nice, so glad first tier unlocked. Yeah, and then you're welcome for bullying Jason into not doing head packs, but just putting more heads into the figures. Two Guys Talking Toys says, the more epic all-in pledges we get, the sooner we unlock all those goodies. Absolutely. So get your epic all-in pledges in. Brick says, yeah, just at home. Crop tops at home. Yeah, I mean, I'm similar. I just don't wear pants at home. Maybe I'm not wearing any pants now. Brick says, heads up, Jason messaged and said he was joining us for Monkey Talk Friday. I know he was wrong. Huh? Well, Monkey Business is on Sunday. He knows that. He is chaos. Jason is chaos. I clicked on the wrong one. Wraith Mason's here. What's going on, Wraith? Brick says that Slash is on a whole other level than that April. Weird. Maybe a factory issue. Yeah, that's a very good point. Like, you get this waxy, kind of basic, odd looking action figure next to this ridiculously well done. You get a black wash, you get beautiful paint apps, like everything is just done so incredibly well. Yeah, it doesn't feel like they're in the same line, which is I have no complaints about this figure because I appreciate, this figure for what it is. But the complaint about the line is that they're inconsistent. That's kind of my complaint about the line. But as I said, it doesn't really stop me from buying them. So, Jay Wright, Crop Top was my band's name in high school. That's not your best, Jay. That's not your best band name. You had a lot of really good band names. Two Guys Talking Toys. April's detailing looks, I want to say, soft, like she's a little blurry by comparison. Yeah, absolutely. That's it. But even these two figures next to each other, you know what I mean? Like, I was saying that the plastic for the skin tone looks like plastic. Like, she looks like a doll. She looks like, I hate to say it, but she kind of has like a dollar store type of look to her, He doesn't. And these are figures from the same line that presumably are made in the same factory, and like they're shading on his arms, and his arms look like a skin tone. There's no shading on her arms, and her arms look like plastic. I don't really understand how that happens. That being said, I do know that it does happen. Production runs are different. This wouldn't have been produced at the same time as this. Maybe the paint samples and what the factory was working with for this, the through the process of approvals, maybe this skin looked like this and it got corrected. Maybe, like, I don't know, and that's why I sort of give them a pass. I don't know. Making toys is hard. It's complicated, it's expensive, and there's a whole lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that people don't necessarily appreciate, which is fine, because at the end of the day, if you're buying toys, you don't have to care. But as somebody that sort of has a little bit of insight into how the sausage is made, I got no issues with this April O'Neil. But the detailing is soft. The detailing is definitely soft. But that, as Wraith May says, Super7 generally sucks on pure human characters. I wouldn't go that far. I don't know that I would say it that sort of strongly. They just seem to have a record of soft sculpts to the faces. And I don't know why. I mean, I don't know. It's odd. Anything with a mask, anything that's an animal, anything that has, features that are sort of non-human, they seem to be able to work those in a little bit better. But yeah, Wraith, anything with a human face, not great. Which is, again, I'm curious to see what that Rat King looks like, because the renders look great, and I think the vintage inspired gross Rat King will probably look great. Pretty Boy Rat King, on the other hand, will it turn out as well as the renders? That remains to be seen. I'm very curious to see what happens. Crop top sleeveless hoodie was my best name in high school. That's better. That was better. All right, guys. We're at an hour and 10 minutes. I've opened the two figures that I was planning to open. We've hung out in chat for a few more minutes here than I had sort of intended to. But I'm going to wrap it up here. If there's any other questions, comments, anything quickly you guys want to chat about, let me know. Casey didn't get an alternate head. No, not in this one. I think I think they might have done another version that did, if I'm not mistaken. But I'm happy with this one. I don't need an alternate head. Casey Jones has a mask. That's what Casey Jones looks like to me. Wraith Mates, the G.I. Joe line by Super7 to Human Figures, very disappointing. I got Snake Eyes, and I was pretty disappointed too. It looks exactly like the cartoon, but there was just it was still a little bit of a disappointment. I think Timber was what I was most disappointed about. But anyway, Brick Something says the Zit Remedy was my band's name in high school. Did you go to a Canadian high school in Ontario? Anyways, cue the sad, sad music. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. I'm kicking everybody out. It's been an absolute pleasure. As I say all the time, it's way more fun to open toys with friends. So thank you guys for being here. I appreciate you guys hanging out while I open my toys. If you were in the chat, thank you for commenting and participating and joining in. If you're watching the replay, I appreciate you as well. Not everybody is awake right now, let alone interested in watching me ramble on for an hour. So thank you. I appreciate you. Until next time, guys. Bye bye.